What's up, evolutionaries? It's your boy Callie, and I'm back again with another video. If you're just tuning into my YouTube channel, you don't have to worry. This is my second video. You can go and check out my first video. It's called The Beginning of the Evolution, Chapter 1 of the Evolutionary Life of Callie. In that video, I spoke about myself and my channel. It basically a get to know you session, and yeah, you guys can go and check that out. So in today's video, we will be discussing a topic that has affected me and a lot of persons that I know, especially in Jamaica and in the United States of America, two of the countries that this issue is the most popular, and that's violence against women. When I really sat and thought to myself, what could my next YouTube video be about, sticking to my plan of speaking about human rights, the most predominant thing that's happening now, it's violence against women in various aspects, ranging from rape, sexual assault, to murder. And so that's the topic that I'll be speaking about today. So to allow you guys to have a better understanding of these crimes in depth and to really feel and understand what has been happening, I will be doing a reaction to the news clippings of these incidents and also sharing my perspective of the crimes committed, how I feel about it, and what I think the government of both Jamaica and the United States can do to fix this. So I'll be looking at two videos. One is a popular case in Jamaica, the Kenise Jackson case, and the other one is in the United States that happened about a month ago. They have not released the name of the woman that was murdered. However, I'm calling this case the Green Pill case, and you guys will understand further in the video why I'm calling this case the Green Pill case. Also, I will be giving practical advice for women who seek to protect themselves from predators, and typically anybody that they interact on a daily basis that might be a threat to them. I will be providing advice to women who want to defend themselves and not depend on somebody else to fight their battles for them, but to take it up onto themselves and say, hey, it is my life and I need to find ways to protect myself. So I'll be giving advice to women, and also finally I'll be looking at the laws in both Jamaica and the United States that speak about rape and murder, and I will be finding ways in which both these countries can reform these laws and to sit down with the justice systems and to say, you know, what are we not doing right? What are we doing wrong? What can we improve on to make our citizens, and in particular our women, more safe? But before we get into the meat of the matter, I want to thank you guys for all the support that you've given to me. I literally can feel the support coming in from all avenues of social media, ranging from Snapchat to Instagram to even Facebook. Persons have been texting me and saying that they don't know me. However, they've watched my video and something about what I'm bringing forward has really put their minds into perspective and they want to see more. So when I started off with YouTube without releasing a video, I gained 38 subscribers, and I'm happy to report to you guys that after my first video, I now have 127 subscribers. That video has pulled in 425 views in a week, and these statistics that I'm giving you are up to the day of my filming. It's not when you see the video that these statistics will change by the time you see this video. However, up to my filming, I have pulled in 425 views for my video, 46 comments, 74 likes, and even 2 dislikes, believe it or not. And yeah, we do believe it because we expected persons to be hating. And as one of my favorite YouTubers, that's Miranda Sings, she always says, haters back off. And I know haters were gonna come, but you know, we thank God for the 2 haters that, you know, dislike the video. It shows us that we're doing something good and positive. They always say that whenever you're doing something good, bad always tries to come and stop it. So thank you for the 2 dislikes. So that's how my YouTube channel is trending, guys, and I want you guys to continue to be there for me and to always be my support 100%. The first case we'll be looking at is the Kenise Jackson case, and a lot of you will be familiar with this case. It is of a young woman in Jamaica who was brutally murdered and possibly preyed upon before she was killed. And by preyed upon, I mean she knew her attacker. This was someone who she was familiar with, and also someone who she shared no interest in getting into a mutual relationship with this person. But again, this man took advantage of her and used his opportunity of familiarity to get to her, and now she lost her life.
While her disappearance remains shrouded in mystery, the search for 20-year-old Kenise Jackson ended right here on the Dyke Road on the Jam World compound in Portmore, next to the fishing village, where her lifeless body was found.
So the first thing that I'm recognizing that I'm starting this case, so this is a 20-year-old young woman who this man just threw on the side of the road. He didn't try to make her death seem other than what it was. You know, it's sad that he couldn't have put her body somewhere else, but he just threw her on the road. It's just sad.
This has left her family shattered and a community in mourning. Kenise was found in the bushes at the side of the road, bound by a rope and partially dressed among the debris early Friday morning. She was discovered by a taximan who alerted the police to the location. The CVM Live team was...
Okay, so this man not only threw her body on the side of the road, but he basically put it with garbage, which gives me the impression that, and I may get into a lot of trouble for saying this, but it gives me the impression that he considers her nothing but what he put her amongst. He put her with garbage. That is next level. He didn't even put her where, you know, she was comfortable. Even in death, he put her somewhere where she was among garbage, and it's crazy.
Was greeted by the family with tears of sorrow as they related their pain in identifying the mother's only child.
Don't know, her room is around there. I went in and look, empty room, and there will be no Kenise back in there.
The only child for her mother, and now that is definitely sad. In Jamaica, for all my Jamaicans that are watching, when we always say that one child is no child at all, whenever you're having children, it's always best, as they say in Jamaica, to have more than one, because you don't want to know the feeling of losing that one child that you have. It's irreplaceable. You cannot get back what you've lost. And I mean, even if you have more than one children, it's always going to be difficult to lose a child. But at the same time, having one and losing that one, it hits differently. It really does.
None at all. I was hoping I would see her come home. Even when you did the interview yesterday, I think, you know, the man would see all of this and let her out. I don't know how long these things will go on. Will people taking away people, Pitney, and I kill them? I wish the day it would stop. Because right now, see, I fall victim to it, and I pray the day this wouldn't happen.
Okay, so that hits me away because no mother wants to, no mother thinks about their child dying. And this mother says that she prayed the day that it would never happen, and now her daughter fell victim to this exact thing that she didn't want to happen. Nobody wants their only daughter to die. It's something that you don't want, but it happens nonetheless. And You know what? Let's just finish the video.
My worst nightmare.
The CVM Live team was present when news came that the person of interest was held in police custody. There was a sense of relief mixed with pain, because the family said the same information that they see in the media regarding the person of interest was the same person they asked the police to investigate when they realized she was missing.
This right there, it substantiates my point when I said that this was someone that she knew. It was someone that the family was familiar with. And not only that, it was somebody that the family had their doubts about. This man apparently pursued her, wanted to be in an intimate relationship with her, and she didn't want to have any part of that. And she completely disregarded it. And her parents knew, her boyfriend knew, that this man wanted to have an intimate relationship with her. And you know, she wanted to stay clear off this man, but she still fell into his trap.
My name, where we worked, the conversation, I showed the police the text message, everything. And on March the 20th, it was the Wednesday, the day when she went missing. The same night after the curfew, about 8:15, went to the police station and made a report because I did see Canis come home. Me, her mom, and my dad, and you, the Jamaican people, played a big part in this. I can't thank you enough. Each and everyone I know who provide information. If I could have soon hug and thank you.
Meanwhile, a voice note obtained by CBM TV shows the conversation between Canis's sister and the person of interest. This shows another depth to the mysterious disappearance of Canis Jackson. Senior reporter Nika Lewis picks up on this story.
So, after reviewing that video, it really gives me mixed emotions. I'm not just sad at the fact that she lost her life, but I'm rather angry with this man. And yes, we can be angry, but what do we do when something like this happens? Do we just take our anger and do we just sit and not do anything about it? Or do we try to find ways in which to mitigate all this violence? Do we reach out to the right people? Do we allow our voices to just be shut down? Or do we find the different avenues to speak what we feel in the most, what would I say, peaceful way that we can put it forward, and not just let our anger stay with us? So each and every country has its different laws that are put in place in order for us to feel safe as a people. Here in Jamaica, we have two different sections. One section we have is called the Offenses Against a Persons Act, which states that the maximum punishment for murder is life imprisonment. And the second section is called the Sexual Offenses Act, that states that the maximum punishment for rape is life imprisonment, but the minimum for rape is 15 years in prison. So the second video that we'll be looking at is what I'm calling the green pill case. And this is the case of a female tourist who was drugged and sexually assaulted and who subsequently died from an overdose. They are still keeping her identity a secret. No one knows what her name is, and that is why I'm calling this case the green pill case.
Miami Beach police making two arrests after they say a tourist was raped by two men at a South Beach hotel.
Investigators say the victim was drugged and died during the assault. Local 10's Christian De La Rosa is live with more. Christian.
Calvin, Nicole, this is the hotel where police say that woman was found dead. 21-year-old Everett Collier and 24-year-old Darian Taylor are the two men charged with drugging, robbing,
let me
and
stop
rape.
right there for a second. So we see two black men, two young black men, and it ticks me off because black people are always talking about how much we are victimized, and we are always the ones who are accused of doing all these heinous acts. But at the same time, we come to realize that these are two black men who are committing these crimes. They aren't white men. They aren't from a different race. They aren't Mexican. They aren't. And I'm not trying to stereotype anyone, but they aren't a race that is different from who we are trying to protect. We're saying that we want to stop being stereotyped as the killers, but at the same time, we're not making it any easier for ourselves. We're just making it worse.
A woman on South Beach. Investigators say the 24-year-old victim from Pennsylvania was found partly nude and lifeless inside her room at the Albion.
So this woman is not even from the Albion hotel. This woman is not from the area. She is a tourist, which goes to show that we're not safe. We're not even safe. Going back to Kenise Jackson's case, we're not even safe from where we live, from our hometown. How much more safe can we be at a distance? You know, we're not safe at home, and we're not safe when we go out to enjoy ourselves. So we're not safe anywhere. So that's why we should always be on the guard, always prepared for the worst.
Hotel on James Avenue Thursday.
Couldn't even pick up a phone to call the police or 911 after they did whatever they did to her.
Miami Beach police officers say the two men.
The judge is of the impression that criminals, and this is a twist. The judge is of the impression that criminals should pick up the phone after they've committed their crimes and call the police or the ambulance or whichever law enforcement they want to call whenever they do a crime, so that the person who they hurt can get medical attention. I'm not seeing where that makes sense. The whole point of them attacking her and raping her and drugging her, and you know, it's because they wanted to hurt her so they can get what they want from her. So I don't see how they would be of a soft nature to then call law enforcement to come and help, because help isn't what they wanted in the first place. They wanted to hurt.
Met their victim at a restaurant, gave her a pill, and went to her hotel.
Had sex with her multiple times.
And I might get myself into trouble for this, but it's sad to say that in 2021, people are still too trusting. Women are still too trusting. And as we can see in this case, she's a tourist. She doesn't know anybody from where she is now. And so it's so strange that you meet two men and you're so trusting that you have lunch and you take them back to your hotel. And well, who knows? Did she allow them to give her the green pill, or did she, or did they give it to her forcefully, or did she not know that she took the green pill? But the fact is, she was trusting enough to sit with two strangers and eat with them, to the point where they're now to her hotel room sexually assaulting her.
And once she was unconscious or out, it remained inside the unit, did not call for assistance or help, and began to take all her items: cell phone, credit cards, and cash.
All right, so I'm not sure if you guys are hearing what he's saying, but the lawyer that's talking in the background is pointing out that after they sexually assaulted her, they didn't call for help. However, they moved on to start ransacking the house, to searching for cash, jewelry, and her credit cards, which is, it's evident that that was their main motive. The motive was robbery. It wasn't sexual assault. And if we understand how criminals work, we will understand that their motive is always what comes after and not before. Most times. Sometimes if they're forced to, they will do stuff before they actually commit what they actually wanted to do. So in this case, the motive was not sexual assault. The motive was clearly to rob and to take possession of what's not theirs. But they have to do something else in order to get that. They have to make her unconscious. They have to allow her not to be in control of her actions, and that will then put her in a state of mind where she cannot defend herself, and then they can move on to getting the items that they want to steal.
So, sir, I'm holding you no bond. I'm not setting a bond. He's being held no bond. It's a very serious charge. He battered a helpless victim.
Our heart bleeds, and our prayers go out to the family that had to be informed, that they lost a loved one. That if there's any type of connection between, that situation and her death, that we go ahead and we support the full prosecution of the law.
Miami Beach Police Chief right there reacting to what happened. His detectives say that at least one of the two men arrested was also recorded on several surveillance video cameras from nearby businesses using the victim's credit cards to purchase
So let me
items.
stop it right here. So he's using her credit cards at local stores. I'm not sure how many of you guys watch Forensic Files, but that is a series that documents real life situations where criminals commit a lot of murders, and it's up to forensic to find out what's happening. We call this a forensic fingerprint, and in this case it's done, the fingerprint is left electronically. It's not advisable, and I'm not encouraging crimes, but it's not encouraged to use credit cards whenever you rob someone. It's always smart to use cash, because fingerprint leave, just as how your finger leave a print and somebody can track you, that's the same thing with a credit card. It leaves a electronic print which can automatically lead the police to you. So we can see right here that these criminals are not smart. They think they are, and they use their power to overpower us. But at the same time, they're not smart, because they're making simple mistakes in 2021 by still using a credit card after you take it from a victim.
Examiner's office is still waiting to confirm, or working to confirm, the exact cause of death. If it is determined that this woman died of an overdose, that could affect the charges faced by these two men. They could end up facing charges for manslaughter. We'll keep you posted. We're live in Miami Beach. I'm Christian De La Rosa, Local 10 News.
Okay, so right here, what he just mentioned is that if it is found that the sexual assault is not what caused the death of the female, but it's actually the overdose of the green pill that was given to her, then the charges could be changed from what we know to be a first-degree murder charge. The difference with these two cases is that with the Kenise Jackson case, she knew her perpetrator. She knew the person who killed her. But with the green pill case, she did not know these two men. So one was a familiar face and the other were two complete strangers. Another difference is that with the Kenise Jackson case, I don't believe, and this is my opinion, I don't believe that this man sat down and thought about murdering this girl. I thought it was more of a frustration of not getting his way with her in that moment, why he lashed out and killed her. I don't believe he sat down and thought about it. But with the green pill case, you could see the details in how organized these men were. And not organized to the point where they could get away with it, but organized in how they chose their victims, and also what they would do to allow their victims to not have any power over them. So the pill wasn't a coincidence that they had the pill to allow her to physically not be in control of herself. They probably stalked her to ensure that she was alone. Criminals don't just attack someone in this case. In the case of a robbery, nobody just robs a house or robs someone off the street. They stalk you to first make sure that you're alone. So they needed to ensure that this woman was not traveling with anyone. So who knows how long they were looking, they were following her, ensuring that she never met up with anyone. She was always by herself. What was her regular stop to get something to eat? And that's sometimes what we need to do, is change our pattern in how we do things. If today we go to this place to eat something, tomorrow we go somewhere else. Try to keep a try not to keep a pattern. That's what I should say. Try not to keep a pattern. Change the way how we do things. In the case, we should, as I said, we should always be prepared for anything. And we want to prepare for the worst. And so just in case we have someone stalking us or someone being a predator, we must always ensure that we change our routine, our pattern, so that it can throw them off, so they don't have an idea of what we do. The difference with American and Jamaican laws is that for America, they have implemented the death penalty for certain crimes, not just murder, but also the severity of possibly rape cases and sexual assault cases. Also, the amount of persons that have fell victim to one person committing that crime can also be taken into consideration as to whether or not you receive the death penalty. In America, the sanction for rape ranges from paying a fine to a sentence of life imprisonment. They also take in consideration the use of violence, whether or not drugs were used to render the victim possibly unconscious or not willing to consent, and also the age of the victim. That is taken in consideration when determining the sentence of somebody who committed rape. Also, if this person is a repeat offender, it is by law required that the maximum sentence be doubled. So if the maximum sentence for whatever that person did would have been life, then it would be a double life sentence, just for example. Also in America, for example, if a victim was both sexually assaulted and given a drug overdose, if that victim dies from the overdose and not the actual sexual assault, the sentencing will change from a first-degree murder to a manslaughter charge, which still is the death penalty. And murder in the first degree is the maximum death penalty, but the minimum is a life imprisonment charge. For the second degree charges, the maximum is life imprisonment. Second degree charges do not carry a death sentence. Here is how both countries can reform their laws into making us safer and also to drive fear into the minds of criminals. What Jamaica can do, we can basically adapt America's death penalty law, which is something that we've wanted for years and years and years. We've lobbied for the death penalty law for so many times, and it doesn't get passed. But what we can do is adapt that. And so once criminals start to recognize that, you know, death comes their way whenever they inflict death upon someone, then something just came to my mind, an eye for an eye. Basically what will happen there, it would create a more psychological trigger for them, and so it possibly would mitigate the crime rate. But America already has the death penalty. What I think they can do now to make it more known that this is what's happening whenever you commit a crime, they can make it public show for anyone to see. It can be a statement of appeal to the criminals. Seeing a fellow criminal being put to death would basically, again, create a psychological trigger for these criminals so that they can possibly stop doing what they're doing. So that could also be done, a public show for persons on death row whenever their time comes to be executed. Now let's get into the practical advice, and trust me, you're gonna love this. We always hear this all the time. Let somebody know where you're going whenever you're going somewhere. Let somebody know the license plate number of the vehicle that you're going into. Call somebody whenever you leave off to go to your destination so they can time you. If they know that your destination takes an hour, they can always call to check when the hour comes. And that gives them, you know, some kind of assurance that you're actually where you say you are going to go. But how many of us actually do any of that? You know I don't. I forget sometimes. There are nights when I come home really late and I forget to call somebody. I forget to even take note of the license plate number of the vehicle that I'm getting into. And so we don't always remember to do that, or we don't even ever do it at all. But that's not what I'm here to tell you. That's not the advice that I'm giving you. I'm giving you practical advice. Look at it from my perspective, or look at it from the criminal's perspective. They will do anything to get you to do whatever they want you to do, even to the point where they can physically hurt you to get their own way with you. So why not, as the victims, as the prey, as the let's use an analogy, the bird preys upon the worm. Why not, as the worm, find defensive mechanisms to fight against the bird? And the bird in this case is the rapists, the murderers, and anybody that is out there that seeks to hurt us physically, mentally, emotionally, psychologically. And so, why not train ourselves into physical combat? Take it by force. If they want to hurt us, we will show them that we are not just settling for the hurt. We're not just going to take it, but we're going to put up a fight and die trying. And the aim is not to die, but never find yourself in a situation where you are helpless and you cannot even do something to fight and to save yourself, but die trying. And so find somebody who you can train with physically. And I mean, we're not going to war. This isn't war, but we have to think of what is best for us. We have to look at what's going on in the world and we have to decide for ourselves. Are we going to settle for all the pain and all the hurt that we're expecting to get? Or are we going to prepare ourselves mentally and physically for war? And whenever the predators come, we are prepared and equipped to fight. So find somebody that you can train with. There's so many personal trainers out there who train the art of war, and it sounds crazy, but there are people out there who know how to fight and are willing to train persons who feel as if they are a victim and feel as if they are threatened by everything around them. And so find somebody or find a facility that can train you into doing these things. So thank you guys for watching. That's it. We really need to take a stand against all the violence that's going on in our communities and by extension in our own countries, and hopefully we can make an impact on the world. We have to allow our voices to be heard and let the predators know that we know you're out there and we are prepared for you. But that's it, guys. That's what I wanted to talk about. Thank you for tuning into the chapter 2 of The Evolution, Violence Against Women. Remember to give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment to let me know how you feel about all this trauma that's going on in our society. And let me know what is your advice for women? What can you tell women to let them feel safe and to, secure themselves? And also, what is your advice for our government and our justice systems to fix and reform our laws to make it a statement for these criminals to know that, hey, the laws are changing, and they're changing not just to protect us, but they're changing so that you can realize that, you're not supposed to do this. Also, don't forget to turn on your post notifications so you never miss a video every time I upload. My aim is to upload every 2 weeks, guys, as I said in my initial video, the beginning of the evolution. Again, if you haven't watched that video, you can go ahead and watch it to learn more about me as a person and also about my channel and what I'm here to do. In that video, I said that I would try to post as often as possible, specifically every 2 weeks. And finally, probably one of the most important things of all, be sure to subscribe to The Evolution. Remember, One more subscription equals one more supporter against not just violence against women, but support against all the human rights infringements. Thank you guys. It is my pleasure to be here to talk about all the issues that we are facing as a people and to provide insight on how to make our lives better. And how to basically survive this. I love you guys. Remember to stay safe and secure during this pandemic. Callie signing out.